everyone, and welcome inside of the Rogers studio for our final episode of Knights Talk for this season. And I'm your host, Matt Sanderson, along with me, Director of Scouting with the Meaford Knights, Danny Smith. Danny, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so obviously, kind of an up and down season for this Knights squad. The youngest team in your division.
Yep.
And probably one of the youngest teams throughout Canada when you measure up junior hockey. But tell us a little bit about this season and your thoughts of it, and maybe some of the positives you can take out of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We did have a very young squad. With that being said, gave a lot of opportunity to those younger players to step up. Yeah. We had some older guys, Jack Hillworth, Ashton Coleman, and Elias Thompson, who did bring in some veteran presence. And best of luck to those guys in the future as they move on to bigger and better things. But I mean, our young guys, they stood their own, and a couple guys that I liked really was Felix Lecomte, obviously our leading goal scorer. Also, I mean, you can't really not talk about Xavier Robitaille, a constant on the blue line. And we have, Andy Muthu and Bob Gerritsen and net Zane Anderson and Keegan Bradley played really well this year as well. And our guys, they battled full 60 minutes every game. Obviously, some games didn't go the way we wanted them to, but I'm happy with the effort they gave, especially towards the end of the season. But we're really, really excited for the things in store.
The one thing that I noticed really a lot this season, Danny, was it seemed like, especially for some of these big games against the Ville-Maries and the Temiskamings, beginning of the year, getting blown out. But throughout, as this season went on, they got better and better, and they were in a lot of those big games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I mean, I can remember we going up to Temiskaming and Ville-Marie, and, we're losing 5-3, and we just kept losing a lot of those 5-3 hockey games, and, 6-4, and then, we're up by 2 going into the third, and then we get burned. It was just one of those years that we couldn't really finish off strong, but that comes with experience, all right. Those guys that are willing to get down and dirty and block those shots late in the third period and stay out of the box, stay disciplined, and also being so young against these older teams, we were injured quite a bit. We did lose a lot of our key guys towards the end of the stretch.
One of the things that we chatted about last season was how many guys are coming back, and you kind of gave me a look of, well, not overly too many guys, and it was definitely a rebuilding year this year. But this year, almost the opposite now, Danny.
Yeah, and obviously, as an ownership group and as a management group, we met and we decided that this year was going to be a rebuilding year. And next year was going to be a year that we're going to have a good core coming back. With that being said, we've got a lot of good returners. We've got Xavier Robitaille, Shane Singleton, Alec Bolduc, Drew Elliott, David Reed, Bob Gerritsen, Andy Muthu, Felix Lecomte. The list goes on, and our fans are really excited about that. And it's a really good time right now to be a Knights fan and to be excited for next season.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about maybe the coaching staff in the sense of if they're going to be returning or if that's still up in the air.
Yeah, there are some things still kind of up in the air.
Okay.
Obviously, Nate Parrish will still be on the bench, and I believe Jeff Oliver will still be on the bench as well. But I mean, as a staff as a whole, everybody is returning and very anxious for next season.
Awesome. All right, well, let's go and kind of take a look at what's going on around the GMHL. Actually, what we'll do is we'll bring up our Russell Cup playoffs standings. We have a couple surprising things to show you. Round 1, best of 3, Temiskaming over West Nipissing 2-0. And this is the surprising one. Almaguin knocks out Ville-Marie, arguably one of the top 2 or the best team in the division all season long, 2-1. And Danny, you were mentioning it in a shootout was actually the final there. A real big shocker against a team who you guys had a lot of success against this season, Almaguin.
Yeah. Actually, we defeated Almaguin both times we played them this season. But I mean, kudos to them. They have a really good hockey team over there, and they don't give up. and their goalie, Pachul, really stood on his head that game against Ville Marie. And you know what? Congratulations and best of luck in the next series for them.
Absolutely. You've got Bradford Bulls over Bancroft 2-1, and then Bradford Rattlers over New Tecumseth 2-0 as well. Over the North Division, you see their best of 5 quarterfinals. You got Temiskaming versus Almaguin, and the Bradford Rattlers versus the Bradford Bulls. And that sets up in the division semifinal, Temiskaming against Almaguin, and then the Bradford Rattlers against the Bradford Bulls. So an all Bradford series there, en route to the Russell Cup. We'll go and take a look at the final GMHL scoring leaders. And we bring them up here, and it's Marc-Antoine Turcotte from Temiskaming. 151 points in 42 games. Just absolutely absurd. Kyle West from St. George. You've got Yannick Ethier from Temiskaming too. Christian Polillo, Zachary Mayhew. You've got Kellen Rosenbaum, Vincent Ethier, Riley Nadeau, Cedric Terrien, and Mike Dick from the Bradford Rattlers as well. 86 points for him on the season. We'll go over to Knights scoring leaders. And as you mentioned beforehand, Danny, Felix Lecomte in there, 41 points, 20 goals, 21 assists. Led the team in goals, Ashton Coleman, Andy Muthu, Jonathan Gosselin, Jack Hillworth, Emil Larson. The list goes on and on. One of those top 10 right there. Tell me maybe one or two of those guys that really jumped out to you this year that had a great season.
Well, you know what, Jonathan Gosselin, we call him Goose. He was a workhorse for us all season. He played really well. Obviously, Andy Muthu with his speed, he was a definite impact player this season as well. Felix Lecomte, obviously our leading scorer. But another guy for us that showed up late was Bob Gerritsen, who was a difference maker on the back end. And another workhorse guy that not a lot of people talk about because he doesn't put up the offensive numbers is a guy like Xavier Caza. Kills penalties, makes the hits, does everything you need him to be. He's just that complete grinder, and we're really excited to have him back next season.
Absolutely. So going forward with the staff that you're with, the group of kids that you have next season, and then obviously more coming in. You were mentioning to me off air, maybe here and there you might be picking up a couple extra guys. Your job never stops, but tell us a little bit maybe of what you see early expectations for next season.
Well, we've got pretty high expectations for next season. As a staff, we decided that next year we're going to bring in the best players we possibly can, and try and make a push and kind of go from there. We're very comfortable with the players that we have returning. That we're going to be in that space, and we feel like just filling in the right players around them will be a strong squad next year.
Is there? I think you mentioned a couple guys there off the top that aren't coming back. Anybody that's maybe signed a deal or a contract with another?
Not yet. A lot of our older guys won't sign their contracts until probably mid-May,
Okay.
just because of how the schools in the U.S. work. If they decide to go to school, or professional teams as well. For example, last year we had Eli Kinsman. He was playing professional hockey.
For sure.
Tyson Gudaitis is playing professional hockey, and then Eric Kolscher from Brady Clausen are playing Division III. And Callum Queenan is playing professional overseas as well. Alex Nazkov, Kyle Stevens. There's a lot of Knights alumni who are currently playing higher levels of hockey right now. So most of our guys, they won't make that commitment until midsummer.
Okay. All right. Before we go here, Danny, is there maybe something or a couple things you want to mention to these fans of the Meaford Knights, those fans that are out there every single night,
Yeah.
despite what the score is and despite what the record is? There's always a great turnout at the St. Vincent Community Center.
Yeah, honestly, just thank you very much. We really do appreciate the support, and we wouldn't be where we were without you guys, the fans. And honestly, I have to say thank you to our team owner, Sabine Chalet, for being able to make this all happen. Without her, this we wouldn't be here, right? Yeah. And obviously a big thanks to Mark and the staff and you guys. You guys are a huge aspect to our program, and the players love having you, and we really appreciate it.
Well, we certainly enjoy having the guys on and also being able to be at those games. I do have to say, for next season when the Knights come around, if you didn't get the opportunity to get out to a Knights game, and I'm not just saying this because Danny's sitting beside me and I'm trying to purposely pump the tires of the team. I'm saying this genuinely because I've been there and I've broadcasted some of these games. This is fantastic hockey. This is fun hockey. It was great that one playoff game that I was able to do last season where it was completely packed. So there's a lot, it shows you, it goes right into the grassroots of hockey in this country. Like the Meaford Knights, and it's really cool to see. I encourage you, if you're looking for maybe a fun night out, you want to maybe make a date night, bring the entire family, whatever the case is, get out to a Knights hockey game next year at St. Vincent Community Center. It's always a fun time, Danny.
Yes, and thank you very much, and we really appreciate it, and we're very excited for next season.
Absolutely. One last thing before we go, I do want to give you a big congratulations on the proposal and
Thank
whatnot
you.
there.
Thank you.
That was pretty nifty what you were able to do there.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the future there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was a little nerve-wracking. My job before every game is to fill out the game sheets. I probably filled out about 20 before I finally got it right, so I was a little shaky there, but obviously it was a good night, and me and my fiance, Christy Young, are excited for what's ahead, and obviously she's a big part of the Knights family as well, so
Sure.
And thanks to the Knights and all the staff for being able to make that happen. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we thank you very much for joining us here. And until next season, we encourage you to get out, enjoy the nice weather that's heading our way, and we'll see you next season for more of Knights Talk. I'm your host, Matt Sanderson.